Okay. So I was just watching that Tyler one video, and even though he's frustrated, I do like seeing, what he's going through. He's trying to
What
get
are you
into Street
waiting for?
Fighter, and he's been, playing Guile, he's playing Modern, and he's trying to look into Classic. And his video was kind of just going over about how this is kind of like what my issue with Modern is, it doesn't really help people actually get into the game when they're trying to get further into it, because he's in that moment right now
I
where
don't have
he
time to
has been
play.
playing Modern, he's been getting wins with Modern, but now he's trying to look, more into Classic to try to actually get into the game and know what's going on a little bit. And when he's even looking at guides and references of how to do that, he's just instantly getting overwhelmed, and it just seems like too much. Especially with a character like
What are
Guile,
you
it's
waiting
just
for?
that it doesn't have to be like that because he's a very simple character. So this is just kind of like a rough draft. I don't know. I just kind of started randomly recording. I might do this a couple times or might just keep it, but just wanted to give like a super like simple like walkthrough for like newer players like that. And he just happens to be using Guile, which is my dude.
I don't have time to play.
But just whenever people are talking about down and back with Guile, just first off, just to get that confusion out of the way, all that is doing is it's letting you have the option of your back charge and your down charge at the same time. So it's something where, if they're just in front of you and you want to create some pressure, you just press forward and a punch at the same time, like that, just, faster. To throw a sonic boom, you just have to hold backwards for a few seconds, so you can even just practice it just literally walking backwards. You don't have to be holding the down. Like, this is just like Guile's classic stance because he doesn't move. You walk backwards into the corner if you're just doing this, which is bad. So most just sit here, so you can just stay in one place to throw booms. And then also the charge in this game is pretty forgiving, so you can even it holds your charge for a little bit, so you can just even like do like a step forward and do a boom if you want. But you don't need to get into that. That's more complicated stuff. That's just trying to get through the simple stuff right now. But so just like, because with Guile, he only has two moves. That's kind of like why I'm stressing this is, all you do is his charge is that. It's just holding backwards and pressing forward, or holding down and pressing up. That's it. Like there's no like directions other than like some of his specials. You do have to do like back circles for that one specific special that gives you these extra booms. But even everything else is like his other specials are a charge where you hold back and then you go forward, back, and then forward to do his special for both the level 1 and the level 3. So literally everything with Guile doesn't have motions or anything that you have to worry about. You're just either holding backwards for 2 seconds and going forward, or holding down for a few seconds and then going up. And then the classic down back game with this is Guile recovers so fast that you can throw a boom and then instantly just what you want to get in the habit of is just you're holding down back, you press forward to do your boom, and then as soon as you do, you go down back right away again, because it's going to make people want to jump over your booms and you'll have enough time to throw a flash kick and get them out of the air. So really you don't even have to worry too much about combos with Guile. Like all I would really worry about combo wise would be like jumping in and then just doing his medium punches into a flash kick. So that would just be you're holding down, you press the medium punches, and then as soon as the last one hits, you just press up and a kick. And so I mean, if you ever get a jump in, you can just know that you're going to get stuff like that. And other than that, I really wouldn't worry too much about like big combos. Like you can of course like use his backwards heavy punch if you want to get something that reaches far that does actually go into the drive rushes. If you're trying to get into the drive rushes, probably his easiest like drive rush combo, if you want to try to get a little fancy too with like advancing and being more aggressive, is you can throw a boom and drive rush after it, which is just holding parry and then just tapping forward twice. And then if you do that when you get in here, basically when you're doing this rush, you don't even have to do the boom if you don't want to, but if you're ever doing this, you can just do down and this medium kick, and if that lands, every time you'll be able to come up with this punch, which you can always do another dash into to extend your combo. And I know that other one was going over this one where you can technically do the flash kick at the end of it. Hold on, I'm trying to do the press the down button. Yeah, there's ours. It's hard to do that when I'm talking at the same time. But it's not, I mean, that is like some actually like sweat stuff. That is like the harder option. You don't have to do that. What you can do is just, like I was saying, just do the medium punches into the flash kick. This is just going to be like, combo-wise, like this is going to be like what you're hitting with Guile for a combo most of the time. He is a very like low like combo character. You can do like, big loops with him and stuff, but when you're first starting out, you definitely don't need to be doing that. That's more of just like the extra, stuff that you can learn to style on people, and then just to be completely, when you're min-maxing and optimizing stuff, trying to win as fast as possible and give your opponent the least amount of opportunities. But I mean, really, I would say just don't get too overwhelmed with stuff, because I mean the combo trials too can they get into these like combos where you have to be doing the perfect the perfect booms, I mean, and then it gets into like the kind of complicated stuff where you can technically press a button like in between like a boom. So I wouldn't even like worry about his combo trials too much. In the beginning, I would literally just worry about trying to throw booms whenever you can, like getting used to your buttons, of course, like of knowing when to use your buttons. Like the other, I guess, just other like real easy thing with Guile is if you knock them down, you want to like be trying to press medium punch like when they're waking up, and then that can catch them into a bunch of stuff where you can just basically, just like I was saying again, just if it hits them, you could just do the medium punches into a flash kick. You can kind of just do that into most of his stuff. Other than that, it's just like getting used to the distance of his hits, and like when you can use them and things like that. Like I guess one other like kind of, just since it's not too crazy, is if you ever get some kind of idea, I guess I wouldn't even like worry about that too much right now. You can even just do the medium punches into a flash kick for that, because you just want to be doing damage. You don't want to be, when you're first starting out, you don't want to be thinking about too much and going too crazy, because you're just going to psych yourself out, and then that's when your opponent can get in on you. Because the other thing is, like, most of your game, like I was saying, is going to be trying to hit them with booms, pressure them into hopefully jumping, and then get a flash kick. Or if they're like technically too far for the flash kick, or if you don't even get the charge out in time, you can just do his medium kick. Hold on, where is the which is just like, the easiest option. So you don't even have to do all that fancy stuff. You can just stand still and press one button, and this will anti-air every single time. Like worst case, it'll just trade. See that? I mean that time I was too close, so it didn't anti-air. It has to hit, anti-air. But worst case, it'll trade. Like if it's like a hitting scenario, that'll be like the worst case. But they're never just gonna like, unless they just like throw, like you throw first like that. Like unless it's just like a bad timing thing, it'll if you throw it when they're coming in, this will always anti. Like there, I was just trying to get a trade. So I mean that's what I would focus on really, is just making sure you're getting these, and then if you do want to like start adding on to that, what you do is you can get a knockdown, and then you throw a boom, and you can run up to do either some kind of a grab or a throw mix up. So you see that even got him when he was trying to jump, because the grab got him in time. But really, that's all I would focus on with Guile. And then see if I can get like into time a jump. So I can kind of show that, but it's kind of hard to do that with a computer that just does it random like this. But there you go. But that's what you're going for right there. It's just, you're throwing this, and then you want them to be jumping over your boom, and then you're flash kicking them. And then of course, the higher level flash kicks do more damage. And then I would just say the other thing, especially just since we were talking about flash kicks and everything. Hold on, wait, what was I just gonna talk about? I thought I was just gonna say something about the level 3. I know we were just talking about doing this, doing this. What was I just gonna say? Hold on, it'll come to me. But the other thing is that you can do is if they do jump, because like sometimes you're just gonna like expect them to jump, so you can run in behind your boom, and if they jump over the boom, what you can do is get a down heavy punch into a flash kick. But they have to be jumping forward. Just keep getting unlucky with the timing here with the computer. Just jumping back. I don't know why he's jumping back. So basically you just do that. It's just hard to time with the boom. Like so even when you're not booming, you can just wait for them to jump, and if you see it, you can just throw that in there. Or like you can just advance, and then if they happen to jump, you can just be ready for it. I'm trying to think of like other like tips of like good things to look for with Guile. I mean, obviously his sweep is nice and it goes kind of far, but you gotta, you know, watch out with using it because it goes far. He's got like forward advancing moves, so I would just mess with that. But like combo wise, I mean a good like normal one to get used to is like jumping in and doing light kick into light kick, light punch, flash kick. That's like kind of the classic like Guile, because if you start getting that, like eventually you can go into your level 3. But here, yeah, turn that off. What else was I just saying about this this move here? And kind of just like the other normal like thing that you see with Guiles is you'll see them like when they're doing that kind of pressure and going in. You could like the mix-up you'll have is like I was saying, you can do this to get a combo, or turn that back on, or you can go high. If so, a lot of people are just going to be crouching to kind of block Guile's stuff. So what you can do is come in and do this to him, and that'll just again give you medium punches that you can just do into anything. But really, I would just be looking into just throwing as many booms as you can to try to condition them by throwing the different speed booms. You know, light goes the slowest, heaviest goes the fastest, so you can kind of use that to control the distance. You don't even really need to worry too much about getting into his cross stuff. Like when you're first starting off and just getting used to it, just worry about trying to get booms and as many flash kicks as you can. And then just, you know, if you are extending, just make sure you're just extending into his medium punches whenever they're close. Just try to get a medium punch into a flash kick. If you knock them down, you can come up and do a medium punch, like a standing medium punch into the crouching ones. Like they added the second medium punch to make this easier for Guile. It used to be that you just had to do it on one punch always. So it's a lot easier now to do all this stuff with Guile in this game. So really, man, I wouldn't get like too like crazy into combos. Like I would just worry about stuff like that, and then like if you're getting the bigger hits, you know, again just going into medium punch. But I wouldn't even stress too much about stuff. Like after you get those normal basics down, you can start messing around with his other moves, like his standing like moving normal is his forward heavy punch, which can give you some nice plus scenarios where like even if they block it, it's still your turn after this, so it can like trick people into letting you get a lot of flash kick setups like that. But really that's all you're doing with Guile. Like it's like you don't have to make it, a lot of people I guess try to make it sound more complicated than it really is, but all you're gonna be doing is holding down, like down or back, and then either pressing forward or up. And then if you hold down and back at the same time, you can just choose back and forth between the two, which one you want to use. But really, man, I would just focus there. I wouldn't go too insane about combos. Just try to control the ground. If they jump at you, try to, you know, hit them any way you can in the air, whether it's a flash kick or a medium kick. You know, he does have this one, but again, it's a lot more to think about because it's just 2 buttons. Technically, it's down and forward with his medium, or with his heavy kick, I mean. So you don't really have to worry about that. Honestly, too, you could just down heavy punch stuff. You don't even have to be crazy about the medium kick. And so you could just be chilling, waiting, and it's just like if you're not ready to flash kick or something like that, you know, you're good for that. And another thing too that a lot of people don't realize with this game is how extremely forgiving it is with the air grabs. If you just see anybody in the air above you with Guile, you can just basically always grab them. Like if you just jump into the air and press grab, the game will just like teleport them to your hands basically. Because all characters don't have this. It's just for characters that have jump grabs, and Guile happens to have one. So this is another like no charge option that you could be doing if you don't want to be worrying about that. You just jump in the air and grab him instead. Other than that, I'm trying to think of like any just other good like beginner tips I would have. I guess I would just say like his medium kick is a really good option because it has multiple things you can do after it. In terms of just like if you land it close, you know, you can just do the whole combo like we're talking about, where you can go into like medium kicks or medium punches into a kick. You can go into level 3 with it. You can go into level 2 with it. I'm pressing it on down. Freaking talking. Yeah, basically like with that, you just like the trick with that is like on the first like actual heavy kick, you just do the first you know, back quarter circle, I mean, and then you just do the last one, because a lot of people think, I mean, you can technically just like mash 2 after it, but that's a lot harder, I think. But other than like, I'm trying to think of like just what you might see, because everything else is kind of like situational. But really, that's the main thing, is just using your booms and then throwing in, you know, the EX ones whenever you can. And just kind of, because even if they're blocking, you're going to be taking their gauge down a lot. They're going to be taking down their meter a lot. And then that's, you know, when you can go really ham on them, because then even if they're blocking, all your booms are going to just be slowly draining, chipping their life down and chipping them out. So yeah, but like all those guides and everything that he was looking at, they're just a little overwhelming because it gets into like really high level stuff, and it's like talking about frames and everything. I'm a big field player. I honestly don't really play by frames too much, just to be completely real. Like I'm literally doing exactly like what I'm saying. I'm just always trying to control the, you know, the ground space by keeping my opponent at a distance where they can't like jump over me, and they have to jump to me with my booms, and they can't get too close to, you know, do some kind of a DI or any other tech that they can do. And then if they're jumping, I'm doing that. And then, you know, when I'm trying to mix it up, I'm just coming in and you know, just doing different combos that you learn along the way. But really, I would just be trying to do, like, if you're ever close, just be doing doing any punch into just, you know, a boom. Because even if they block you, it's not the end of the world. Because if you're doing that with a flash kick and a flash kick misses, you're gonna, you know, take a bunch of damage. They're gonna do a huge combo to you. But you know, if they block a boom, you'll most likely still be safe, and you might even be able to parry after. But yeah, that's all I would really worry about with Guile. I would just like, you know, you just kind of start conditioning them with stuff like this, and then you can kind of just do tricky stuff where you can like dash up really fast because they're not expecting it, because you've just been chilling the whole time. And just a lot of different random things like that, where it's just kind of changing up your game plan over and over again, versus like complicated combos, I would say, with Guile, because he does have a lot of like longer like loops and stuff that you can do, but I mean you don't need to be doing that at the beginner level, especially like in matches. Like it's just like most of the time you're just not really gonna be needing to do that to close stuff out. And then even if you get like shorter ones, you can just kind of finish them with his sweep. I didn't do the right option there. So like you don't even have to like if you're just starting to get into him and you do kind of start landing some, you know, you could just throw in that little kick at the end, and then that just gives you more pressure. I guess that's another little thing just that I just did there just for muscle memory, is if you do get a knockdown too, another option other than heavy medium punch is you can throw out the back Sonic Cross if you want to, but that is his motion move. I guess I forgot he does have like an input like move where you do have to do a quarter circle. I forgot about Cross when I was talking about stuff earlier, but for just getting started, you don't really need that. I didn't really use Cross for a long time. I would just be focusing on just if they're ever close to you, like this is like your medium punch is your best button, because it's going to be the one that can extend, like either standing or crouching, and it's pretty safe too. So, but I mean they can whip punish you of course and everything, but I'm just talking from the perspective of just like starting out like as a simple Guile. But yeah, that's all you really want to be just doing, is just you want to be creating a bunch of pressure. Like if you don't want to get too crazy about thinking about this move but just using it, you can use it on players that just aren't jumping, and then that just creates like a mind game where with them where they they can't move forward and they can't get to you other than if they do some kind of a jump or do something to they either have to wait for this to go away or they have to jump. So that's another good way to bait a jump, is by throwing that out. Other than like I'm trying to just think of like beginner stuff. Other than that, you just want to be jumping in and just going for punches into flash kick, but don't overthink it. This is a super scrub, just like beginner. Like I don't know anything about like Guile guide. It's not like nothing with any notation or anything. Not telling anyone to memorize anything, other than just literally holding backwards and then pressing forward, holding down, pressing up. And then just, if you're ever close to them, you just press buttons into, that. You're holding down, and then you're doing punches, then you press up. That's why you start by stressing on these, because your combos are just using those, and you're just adding them at the end. So it's not as crazy as it seems. Once you start doing it, you'll realize actually how simple it is. You don't even have to press it at the exact same time. That's just how you get those perfect ones. So don't even like stress too much about that. Like you don't have to press them at the exact same time to get the boom to come out. But yeah, I guess that's all I would really talk about for this little intro guide. I don't really think there's anything too much else that you need to super stress about. I guess just kind of use your dashes to your advantage. And yeah, if you do, kind of try to cash in on that jump, that's kind of when you're getting your combos. Other than that, it's really just kind of, you can be like death by 1,000 paper cuts of Guile and just kind of chill and never let him get in.